Hello, I'm here now to show you how to do the timeline on your World Leader report. This is optional, but I would encourage you, if you're looking for something to do, to definitely give it a try because it's not very difficult. So a timeline is all of the important events that happen in a person's life or in a span of time. Now, my person is Eleanor Roosevelt, so I'm going to definitely include when she was born, when she got married, and her death, but I'm also going to include some other events that are related to her that happened in the world, like World War I, World War II, and even related to her husband. Now, on a timeline, sometimes you have specific dates, months, specific dates with months, dates, and years, or you can just have a year. That's totally fine too. But you want to pick out the most important events in that person's life. So I went through and I picked out the most important events in my world leader's life. And it looks like I have 4, 5, 6, 8 boxes for me to fill in with the most important events of Eleanor Roosevelt. So obviously the most important event for Eleanor Roosevelt that I would start with would be her birthday. So I took notes on when her birthday is, so I'll just write this down. So she was born, and I'm going to actually just put in my date column the year, 1884, and then I'm going to go over to my next box right here, and I'm going to say what the event was. So that was when Eleanor, and I'm going to be more specific over here, October 11, 1884. It's up to you if you want to put that in here or if you want to put October 11, 1884, whenever your world leader was born, in the date section. So I'm only going to put my years in my date section, and then I'm going to put the exact date, if I have it, in the event. Okay, then I want to make sure that my timeline events are in order. So the next big event that helped shape Eleanor Roosevelt was when her mother dies. And I did not find in my research the exact date that her mother died. So I'm going to just put the year. So I'm going to say Eleanor's mother died. And I want to make sure I'm using the past tense. So I changed that to say was. Then the next big event was when her father died. Now, this event was super important because that left her an orphan with her sibling, her brother, Gracie Hall. So that is also when they went to go live with her grandmother. So I'm going to put that in there. Eleanor's father died. She and her brother move in with her grandmother. All right, so I already have 3 events now. I think I'm going to skip the event where she goes to the Allenswood boarding school because it is important, but I think because I don't have enough space for every single important event, I need to pick and choose. So I'm going to pick the date of their wedding, which was right after that, 1904. So shortly after they got married, or shortly after she got back from boarding school. So now, I could include the big events of like World War I and World War II, and I'm going to also have to cut out World War I because even though that was a big event in her life, it was not as relevant to her and who she was as World War II is and the Great Depression. So I'm going to put in 1929, and this is the year of the Great Depression. And this is important because this is about when she is becoming more active in the political world and helping others. So the Great Depression started in the United States. And shortly after the Great Depression is when her husband, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, becomes the president. So I'm going to include that in there, 1933 through 1945. Eleanor becomes the first Now, as you can see, I have some words here with red lines under them, and those are words that I need to go back and I need to edit. So also take a look at your other final report. Do you have words that are misspelled? So going back and fixing them, because even though I type really well, sometimes we make mistakes. So I need to go back and I need to change it. Eleanor became, actually, when I want to make sure it's in the past tense, became the First Lady of the United States. FDR became, and actually I'm going to change this to be was. And also during this time, World War II is happening. Occurred 1939 through 1945. And that is a huge event because my world leader went to visit soldiers. Her husband helped get them out of the Great Depression with his New Deal and all of these different committees that he made to help other people. So that really is a big event in their life. Now I only have two. So I'm going to pick the most important two events that happened after, and that would include her being a delegate to the United Nations and her death. So usually we include the death as the last one. Unless your person had earned an award or something after they had died, that might be the last event on your world leader timeline. So 1962, though, Eleanor Roosevelt died of tuberculosis. And here, going back up, she was the United Nations representative from 1946 through 1953. And there's all my events. So let's just make sure that I have all my years in order because I don't want my years to be jumped around. I want them to go in order, chronologically in time order to make sure it makes sense. So she was born in 1884. Her mother died in 1892. Then in 1894, yep, that's right, her father died and they moved in with her grandma. Moved, make sure it's all in the past tense. 1905, she married FDR. 1929, the Great Depression started. This is when she became the First Lady and the World War II. 1946, yep, that comes right after 1945, so it should be right after. Then making sure, and then her death. Now, if your timeline doesn't fit because you include more details, you might have to make some of the boxes a little bit shorter. Like this one, I'm going to have to move up a little bit so it fits on my slideshow. And same thing with the one that I had at the bottom. And then if I zoom back out, all of my events are on my timeline. So a timeline, again, is the most important events of your world leader's life in order. And I hope that helps you making your own timeline.